broke that fish off. Ken? What the f on? I broke that fish off. No. Yeah, broke him off on the hook set. All right, so that's a wrap on Toledo Bend. Had a little bitty limit, about 8-10. There goes Tommy Mackey. I basically just went junk and dock fishing. I had sort of an odd day. I had, you'll see right here, I had one, I think I've got this on camera. Right off the bat, I had one, I broke a fish off, one of my very first bites. And then I missed a couple of fish. I had at least 3 fish between 2 and 4 pounds eat or jump over a yellow magic. And then I just really struggled the rest of the day. I got bites, as you'll see across these. I'll show you the fish I caught right here.
He must hand pushed the boat out and then.
I guess so. Of course, normally it's 4 foot deeper than this too.
The good one?
Better one.
There he is. Look at fish. Yeah, good fish.
Number three. Not much, but better than nothing.
Good one? Keeper? It's a keeper?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think that one's gonna make it. Oh, me. It was around something when I set the hook. Thought maybe it was a little better fish. Oh, I mean, I'm gonna put him in the box. He's right on the edge. He's worth weighing. That's 5 or 4 3/4.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like they're too deep.
Oh, I think that the better fish are the deeper in the shallow. I mean, in the small fish. I don't know. I think it's good one.
Nope.
Keeper? Nope. Good spot.
So that's my 5 fish. They weighed a little under 9 pounds. I'm in like 25th place. It was a really tough day. It sounds like there's some grass fish down south that I just didn't find. I didn't find the grass. I didn't look in the right spots apparently. But you know, I came in here in 40th place trying to make the regional, and I'm pretty certain now that I've done that, which is what I set out to do. If I was going to try to be competitive, I should have been over here practicing more, and I didn't. So that's my wrap, and I'll try to get some Rayburn footage for you guys tomorrow. Thanks. Sorry, I got distracted. Tommy was telling me I got a pretty boat. So anyway, it's a tough day for me. It was only like 14 or 15 pounds of leaving, so it was a tough day for everybody. And you know, I did not try to win. I tried to get points, which I hate doing. But in this case, I really wanted to go to the regional because I've made the decision not to fish the last Costa because I could absolutely care less about driving 11 hours across the country and fishing Gunnersville. I'm just not going to do it. It's my vacation time. I'm not going to drive that far and compete against locals. And you can say what you want about me. Fishing's supposedly not that good over there, and I experienced that at Kentucky Lake. So I'll stay here close to home, fish Lake of the Ozarks, and we'll go from there. Hey guys, good morning from World Headquarters. Sorry, we've got a little bit of road noise. The church traffic is going back and forth through Zavala right now. But I wanted to add an addendum to my video from Toledo yesterday. So there was only 98 boats, and I know for a fact this happened in 2 cases. So I want to talk about it. It's happened to me before. So one of my buddies walked up to me yesterday and said basically that his young co-angler said, hey man, I forgot to get gas money. Had no money on him to give his boater a little bit of money for gas. And he responded to the kid, he said, that's okay. He says, what would you have thought had I forgotten to get boat gas this morning and we couldn't leave the ramp? It's just common courtesy. And I'll also tell you, based upon my experience recently in a tournament, I'm not going to say which tournament because I'm not out to embarrass anybody, but handing a guy who you've just spent the day in his boat with him $20 for boat gas is not acceptable under any scenario. And I can go into the fact that if you do the math on these things at 3 miles to the gallon in a 4-stroke, it's about a dollar a minute to run the big motor. And this is not about a guy needing the money. A lot of the guys that fish the FLW, the BFLs, you name it, the BASS, ABA stuff, a lot of them don't need the money. Some of them do, but a lot of them don't need the money. This is about a common courtesy of, man, I enjoyed the day with you, and let me carry my share of the expenses because you shared your boat with me. The fact that the guy probably spent a day or 2 or 5 out practicing trying to find fish that you got to take advantage of, whether you caught fish or not, doesn't matter to me. I know some co-anglers will bonus some guys when they win money. I don't want that, but what I do want is the common courtesy to say, here's a little bit of money for spending the day. Again, it's a dollar a minute to run the boat, plus pulling the boat to the lake, plus practice. This is just a courtesy deal. I have been a co-angler twice in my life. I pre-fished with a guy at St. Clair just because I was up there and I wanted to get out on St. Clair. I gave him $100. It was just common courtesy. I fished with a kid a couple of years ago because I had never been on Eufaula, and we didn't burn 10 gallons of gas. I gave him $50. It's just the courtesy of, thanks for spending the day with me and letting me be in your boat. So if you can't afford that, as my buddy said yesterday, maybe this kid couldn't afford it, he ain't ready to come up and bass fish yet. He shouldn't be tournament fishing if he can't afford to give a guy 50 or 80 or 100, whatever the number is, some amount of money for boat gas and oil and whatever else. Now, obviously with me, there's no oil, but for a lot of guys, still running 2 strokes. Now, I'm gonna give you the other side of that story. So many, many years ago, I guided on Richland Chambers, and I was on a huge group of fish. And I drew out with this guy named Jason Reyes, who, if you look at the FLW tour, Jason's on the tour. And make a long story short, early in the day, but this is back when Chambers was all tall timber, I idled over a tree. My boat slid off the tree, slammed into another tree, and I literally broke the trolling motor off the front of the boat. We had been fishing for 15 minutes. I had 1 4-pounder in the box, and I was running spots. I had just an amazing spinnerbait bite going on. And so this was a draw tournament. I think this was probably a Redman tournament, which is the predecessors to the BFLs. And I got up front, I tied to a tree, Jason kept fishing. I tried to figure out some way I could rig the trolling motor, but I mean, it literally had a hole in the front of my old hydrosport. So I ripped it off and threw it in the floor. I was obviously mad. Got my 4-pounder out of the live well, threw it back in the lake. And Jason said, I guess we're done for the day. And I said, we are not done for the day. I'm done for the day. Put on your life jacket. And for the rest of the day, I idled him through my water. Big motor running with the butt seat on the front deck. He's got his life jacket on. I've got my life jacket on, and I'm telling him where to throw. He wins that tournament. My fault I tore my boat up. At the end of the day, he hands me every dollar he has in his wallet. I think it was like $150. And he said, I'll get you the rest of your half at the next time I see you. And I said, what are you talking about? He goes, this was a team deal. If it had been, a lot of guys, they'd have folded it up and went to the house. And I said, no, you ain't got to do that. I'm glad you want it, blah, blah, blah. And he said, nope, next time I see you, I'll have your money. Forgot about it. And I'll bet you it was more than a year before I saw Jason again. And next time I saw Jason, he walked up to me, he opened his wallet, and hidden in the back of his wallet was several $100s. I don't remember how much it was, but I'm gonna guess it was $300 or $400 or $500 that he had stuffed in there. And he said, there's the rest of your half. That's the other side of this. I've had co-anglers do some really cool things with me. I've had a lot of co-anglers certainly cover their share, but handing a guy $20, or even worse, when you've spent a day on Rayburn where you've burned, $80, $100 worth of gas, and saying, is this enough? It ain't up to the boater if it's enough or not. No boater's ever gonna say to you, no man, you need to pay me some more money. Be courteous, just pay the guy. I know I'm gonna catch some slack on this, I'm gonna get some nasty feedback, but I just felt like I needed to say it, and so I've said it. Anyway, we're gonna spend a little bit of time on Rayburn this morning, not very much because we got some rain rolling in, but if we get some footage, we'll post that up on the back side of this. And thanks for tuning in, and I apologize. That's my first rant I think I've done. I'm sure there'll be more, but there's my one rant. Thanks, guys.